Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see the next chapter of Lakshmikant, that is Chief Minister. So before going into this topic, let us see some brief introduction regarding this chapter. So if you are seeing, we adopted parliamentary form of government. So in the parliamentary system of government, we have the real executive and we have the nominal executive head. So we have the real executive head and as well as a nominal executive head. So real executive head, he called as a de facto head, and nominal executive head is called as a de jure head. That means in fact real executive head is the head of government. So here nominal executive head, he is the head of state. So if you see regarding the center, who is the real executive head and who is the nominal executive head? So in the center, real power which is mainly lies with the prime minister. And who is the nominal head? Nominal head is president. So in the same, we also have the same structure in the state when we are compared with the center. So in the state also we have the real head and we have the nominal head. So the nominal head is governor and the real head of the state is chief minister. So if you are talking about the chief minister, he is the real executive head of the state. So if you are talking about the appointment of the chief minister, our constitution did not talk about the specific process or procedure of the appointment of the chief minister. One article, that is article 163 of our Indian constitution, mainly says that there is a council of ministers and there shall be council of ministers, and these council of ministers will be headed by the chief minister. And this council of ministers headed by the chief minister, they need to give aid and advice to the governor. So regarding this article 163, we are going to have a detailed discussion on this article in the next chapter, that is State Council of Ministers. Okay, so this article, it is one of the beautiful article in our constitution. Mainly it talks about how the central mainly controlling the state. Okay. So one important thing regarding the appointment of the chief minister here is, according to the article 163 mainly says that there shall be the council of ministers headed by the chief minister. They need to provide aid and advice to the governor. And if you see regarding this election of the chief minister, so whenever there is state legislative assembly elections that will be happening in the state. So for example, let us take political party A, political party B, political party C and political party D, they are contesting. So let us take a hypothetical example here. So A got, let us say 120 and B got 100, C got 80 and D got 90. So who got the majority of the votes? That is A political party. So A political party, the leader of this political party will be made as a chief minister. So this is the first important thing. So what happened if these political parties, they got the equal number of votes? So whenever there is no absolute majority that is gained by any political party, then the discretion of the governor which comes into picture. So these are some facts regarding this chief minister appointment. So now let us see how this leader of this political party appointed as a chief minister. So whenever any party, let us take this political party A got the large number of majority. So the leader of this political party, who is called by the governor, and asked this leader of that political party to form the government. So governor will ask this leader of this political party to form the government here. So whenever this leader accepted to form the government here, so he will be given 1 month time by the governor. So within this 1 month time, so this leader of the political party, he need to show the majority, or he need to show the confidence in the house. then this leader will be appointed as chief minister. So whenever this leader within this 1 month period of time he did not prove the majority in the house, then what will happen? So if this leader not proved the majority in the house, then the next other political party who gained the majority of the votes, he can be called by the governor and ask him to form the government. So in this way, this appointment of the chief minister that happens. So if you are talking about the oath and affirmation regarding this chief minister, so you need to remember one important thing here, that is, so it is according to the schedule 3 of our constitution. So this schedule 3 will be very, very important regarding prelims. So this is the overview of this chapter. And now let us see what is written exactly in our Lakshmikant. So in the scheme of parliamentary system of government, it mainly provided by the constitution, and the governor will be the nominee to executive authority, that is a de jure executive, and the chief minister is the real executive authority. So as we know, either in the center or in the state, we have the nominal head and we have the real head at the central level and as well as at the state level. So at the central level, nominal head, he is the president, and the real head is the prime minister. So in the same way, in the state also we have the real head and the nominal head. Nominal head is the governor and the real head is the chief minister. So in other words, we can say that the governor is the head of the state and the head of the government will be the chief minister. So these are some important facts that you should remember. So in this way, we can compare the position of the chief minister in the state with the position of the prime minister at the center. So almost the chief minister and the prime minister, they have the equal powers and equal functions. So in their regard. So let us see the appointment of the chief minister. So our constitution does not contain any specific procedure mainly for the selection and as well as the appointment of this chief minister. But one article, that is Article 164, it mainly says that chief minister shall be appointed by the governor. And Article 163 mainly says that there shall be council of ministers headed by the chief minister, and they will aid and advise the governor. So Article 163 and Article 164 mainly talks about the chief minister. So 163 says that chief minister will be the head of council of ministers. And Article 164 mainly says that chief minister shall be appointed by the governor. So this article mainly says in a sketched form or in a rough form that who will appoint the chief minister, that is governor. The governor of the state will appoint this chief minister. But whether this governor is free to appoint any one person as chief minister? No, because according to some conventions of the parliamentary system of government, governor has to appoint the leader of majority party in the state legislative assembly as a chief minister. But one discretion power of the governor will also come into picture here. So whenever any party which is not getting absolute majority in assembly, then there is a personal discretion that can be exercised by the governor here. And if you see, in a situation, governor usually appoints the leader of largest party or largest coalition party as a chief minister. So this is the important thing that you should remember. And when is the death of the chief minister occurs, then the ruling party usually elects the new leader, and in that context, governor had no choice but he need to appoint that person as a chief minister. And the next one is a person who is not a member of the state legislature. He can also be appointed as a chief minister for the time period of 6 months. So within this 6 months, so he should be elected to the state legislature, either to the state legislative assembly or the legislative council. So what happens this person not elected to the state legislature within this 6 months? Then the game will be over. So he will be ceases to be as a chief minister of that state. And the next one is, according to our constitution, chief minister may be from the member of any house, that is either from the state legislative assembly or from the legislative council. So there will be no problem. And the next one is oath, term and salary. So regarding this oath of this chief minister, it is mainly coming from the schedule 3 of Indian constitution. So this will be very, very important prelims fact. And before Chief Minister enters the office, Governor administer him oath of office and secrecy. So Governor will administer oath of office and as well as secrecy. So there are the two oath here will be administered by the Governor. So again this will be important prelims fact. So let us see what is present in the oath of his office. The first one is to bear the true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of India. And next one is to uphold the sovereignty and integrity of India, and to faithfully and conscientiously discharge the duties of his office, and as well as to do right to all manner of people, and whatever he is doing, that will be in accordance with the Constitution and the law, without any fear, without any favor, and as well as affection and ill will. So these are the some important things which are mainly in the oath. And if you see the term of our Chief Minister, which is not fixed, and he holds the office during the pleasure of Governor. So whenever I am saying it is a pleasure of Governor, whether Governor can remove the Chief Minister at any time? No, because this Chief Minister cannot be dismissed by the Governor as long as Chief Minister enjoying the confidence in the House. But whenever the confidence in the assembly which is lost by the Chief Minister, then that Chief Minister must resign or he can be dismissed by the Governor. So because of this we can say the term of the Chief Minister which is not fixed and he holds the office during the pleasure of Governor. So this is the important thing that you should remember. And regarding the salary and allowances of this Chief Minister, they can be determined by the state legislature, not by the Governor. So this is the one more important prelims fact. And now let us see the powers and functions of Chief Minister. So these powers and functions that can be important regarding mains point of view. The first one is in relation to the Council of Ministers. As we know, under Article 163 of Indian Constitution mainly says that there shall be Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. So the Chief Minister, he is the head of the Council of Ministers, right? So he will enjoy some powers regarding this State Council of Ministers. The first and the foremost power here is Governor appoints only those persons who are recommended by the Chief Minister. So here who are the member who that means whenever Chief Minister want to make any member into the minister, then according to his wish, Governor will appoint those members as a ministers. And he can allocate, reshuffle the portfolios among the minister. That means which minister to be given which department. So this is under the hands of the Chief Minister. And the next one is he can ask a minister to resign or advise the Governor to dismiss him in the case of difference of opinion. So whenever there is any difference of opinion between the Chief Minister and other ministers, then Chief Minister can advise the Governor to remove this so and so minister. Because there is an important thing in our parliamentary form of democracy, that is there is a need of collective responsibility. So whenever there is any difference that is seen between the Chief Minister and the minister, then the Chief Minister can advise the Governor to remove or dismiss this minister in case of difference of opinion. And he also presides over the meetings of the Council of Ministers and also influences its decisions. He can also directs, guides, controls, coordinates the activities of all the ministers. And he can also bring the collapse of the Council of Ministers whenever the Chief Minister who is resigning for the office. So this Council of Ministers headed by the Chief Minister entirely will go into the collapse. Okay. So these are the some important powers. And now let us see the powers in relation to the Governor. So Chief Minister enjoys some powers in relation to the Governor. The first one is he is the head of Council of Ministers, right? He is the head of Council of Ministers and there is Governor here. So in this way he will act as a principal channel of communication between the Governor and the Council of Ministers. So if you see the duty of the Chief Minister, the first one is he need to communicate to the Governor regarding what all the decisions that are taken by the Council of Ministers regarding the administration of the state. And also he need to provide some information relating to the administration of the affairs of the state and also some proposals of the legislation, etc. And also if the governor he asked any information, then that information need to be submitted by the chief minister. And the chief minister also advises the governor with regarding the appointment of important officials, for example advocate general of state, chairman and the members of state public service commission, and as well as state election commission. So these are the some powers which are related to the governor. And next one is powers relation to the state legislature. So chief minister mainly enjoys the power because he is the leader of the house. So as the leader of house, he will enjoy some special powers. The first one is he advises the governor regarding the summoning, proroguing of the sessions in the state legislature, which is very much similar to the prime minister. And the next one is he can also recommend for the dissolution of the legislative assembly to the governor at any time. And he can also announces the public policies on the floor of the house because he is the leader of house. And let us see the next other powers and the functions. The first one is he also acts as a chairman of state planning board. He acts as a vice chairman regarding the zonal council. So if at all in the zonal council, we know home minister will be the chairperson and the vice chairperson will be the chief ministers of the state. For example, let us take in one zonal council, 5 chief ministers of the states are present. So for 1 year, state 1 chief minister will act as a vice chairman. For the next year, 2nd, and the 3rd year, 3rd chief minister, 4th year, 4th chief minister, and the 5th year, 5th chief minister. So in this way, here the chief ministers, they act as a vice chairman regarding the zonal council. And he also the member of the interstate council, and he will be the governing council of the Niti Aayog, and these interstate council and as well as the Niti Aayog will be headed by the prime minister. And he also acts as a chief spokesman of the state government, and he also acts as a crisis manager in chief at the political level during the emergencies. And he is also the leader of the state. He also meets the various sections of the people and he receives the memoranda regarding the what are the problems facing by the people. And he also acts as a political head of the services as well. So these are some important powers regarding the other functions. So these are some important points that you should remember regarding this chief minister. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to like, share and comment my videos.